So this project is about exploring the visual nature of data and exploring data sets from around Melbourne and presenting them on a very kind of large screen format and soundscape. The really interesting thing about data is people interpret it their own way, and as much as this work is presenting the data, it's not trying to tell people how to look at the data. It's more about letting people have an experience or discover something, or let people see things in the information that then might trigger their own ideas from what they might take away from the data. Primarily the data we're working with in this project is spatial data, so it's information that is collected and presented by spatial coordinates. So if it's in the inner city of Melbourne or at the edges of the Melbourne urban area, that information is located to coordinates. So what we're working with is a way in which we can present that spatial data in an interesting way, and looking at how we can just use the data itself to create maps. So rather than having a traditional map background or something that presents where the roads and rivers, all the artifacts are, this is purely about saying, well, here is all the data that's being collected, and just by where it's being collected, we start to see new maps of Melbourne being created. The data visualization is, in some ways, like a two-dimensional representation of that multi-dimensional experience that one gets in a city environment. And so I, in some ways, see it as a lens or a way of looking at our environments that filters out all different types of information, but leaves you with potentially one set of information that is of interest. And like all map making, it's as much about what you leave out of the map as what you put in it. Data has its own behaviours or its own nature, and it's very much about exploring what are the qualities of that behaviour and letting that inform its presentation on the screen. The other side of the work is a lot of kind of creative coding or the use of programming to generate new ways of presenting that information and using that to drive the visual and the sonic components of the work. For example, how people move through the city, how traffic flows, how we study our natural resources, our plant land, our water resources, etc., but just shown purely through the lens of data. So my hope is that as part of the Zoom exhibit, this piece provides a tapestry, a visual tapestry that unfolds over time and enables people to reflect on Melbourne into the future by having that visual and sonic information presented in this way.